Hey there, LEGO fam. I'm Justin and you're watching Good Life Bricks. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me, and I've got a good review for you today. We're going to be talking about LEGO Star Wars set 75388 Jedi Bob Starfighter. This set was released on August 1st of 2024 for $39.99. It has 305 pieces and came with 3 minifigures. And the thing that everybody's talking about is the return of Jedi Bob. Jedi Bob first came out in 2002. He was known as simply Jedi Knight. But over the course of time, he was published in some of the LEGO Star Wars encyclopedia materials, and people started referring to him as Jedi Bob, and LEGO picked it up, and what do you know? A few years ago, Jedi Bob appeared as the caption under this minifigure. So that was an exciting thing, and it gave LEGO Star Wars fans a sense of really being involved and being heard. And it was a lot of fun. So the return of Jedi Bob and his Starfighter this time, along with some friends, was pretty exciting. So we're going to get into that today. Before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's dig in. Jedi Bob is back after 22 years, and this time he's brought friends. LEGO Star Wars set 75388 is Jedi Bob's Starfighter. This set was featured in a Disney Plus animated series called Rebuild the Galaxy, and Jedi Bob was one of the main characters. In this series, the galaxy was turned on its head. Good guys became bad guys became good guys. Admiral Akbar became a stormtrooper, and it was kind of crazy. But out of that series, we got several new sets. The Dark Falcon was one of those sets. Jedi Bob's Starfighter was one of those sets. And we also got the mashup of the TIE Fighter and the X-Wing. So this set gave us a recreation of the Jedi Starfighter. And I think LEGO did a really good job. It's a little bit of a cross between the 2018 version of Anakin's Starfighter and Plo Koon's Starfighter from a few years earlier. But let's take a closer look at the set and the minifigures and see what we think. The thing that stands out for me about Jedi Bob's Starfighter is the coloration. The white and the red with a little bit of the dark bluish gray really pops, and I think it looks fantastic. They also did a nice job of giving it decoration, like these engines located on the front, the color of the engines in the back with their visible thrust, the rear fin that is similar to many of the past Jedi Starfighters that we've seen, and then of course the smoky windscreen. The interior is fairly plain. It's got a headrest on the seat, which is adjustable, and then the control panel, which is pretty standard and I think looks nice. There's not a lot more in the interior, but again, on the exterior, we've got a lot of great color and appropriate stickers that I think stand out really nicely. I don't think this white looks bad at all, even though it's not quite the same color as the white around it. The gray, the dark gray stickers on the dark bluish gray tiles look very good. And if you're careful with the stickers, they even line up well, and I think that's an important part of this set, is if you can get these stickers to line up the best possible, then the whole thing looks a lot better. It comes with the projectile shooters, the missile shooters, and a landing gear, and then it's got clips underneath for an extra missile and Jedi Bob's lightsaber. And I think that's great. One of the things that always bugs me is when you've got a fantastic minifigure with great weapons and no place to put them if you want to put them in their ship. One thing that's a little bit different on this is these long guns on the side. And another thing that they did that I think is really good is they closed the gap between the main body of the ship and the wing. Now they did this with one of these track tiles here. Actually two. They did a white one here and a red long one here. But really what this does is it decreases the gap, because when they add the wings, they do it with these Technic pieces and they do it at an angle. And so that creates a gap on the top side. And I'll show you that. We'll do a comparison with the 2018 version of Anakin's Jedi Starfighter. But see right here, there's just no gap there. Now you can see the gap right back here. Let me get that centered for you. You can see the gap right here, but it's not visible up here. And I think that's really nice. And then of course they have the moving landing gear, so you can flatten that out as it's flying. So fairly standard, but a lot of these touches that they did were different enough that it made a big difference in the look and the feel of the ship. Now let's take a look at the minifigures. First up is Jedi Bob. Now Jedi Bob was first released as Jedi Knight in 2002. And later, because Star Wars fans didn't like just having a no-name Jedi Knight, they named him Jedi Bob, and he has been a fan favorite ever since. What they did a little bit different with this guy, which I think is kind of cool, is you notice around the neckline, it looks like there's a little maybe fraying, almost as if the minifigure had aged and maybe gotten beat up just a little bit. Here's the original Jedi Bob, and you can see they're almost identical. The old one from 2002 right here has the old dark gray coloration on his tunic, while the new one has the dark bluish gray. But you can see it's almost like they took the old one and just kind of made it look like a 20-year-old minifigure, like as if it hadn't been well cared for. And I thought that was a great feature. I really did. I think, you know, it adds a little bit to the lore of Jedi Bob. So the older guy just has the one face. The new Jedi Bob has his identical face to 2002, but they also gave him a second face with a little bit more serious look. That's just because he's a new character and they're doing a lot more of the dual faces. One of the things that I kind of like about this is they gave him the yellow hands and the yellow skin tone on the face as kind of an homage to the 2002 figure. And I thought that was a nice touch, and it's probably something that many fans will like as well. The next figure that they gave us is a gonk droid called Servo, S-R-V-O, or just the name Servo. He is featured in the Rebuild the Galaxy series and is kind of comedy, a little bit of comedy relief. I mean, the whole thing's a little bit of comedy relief, but brick built gonk droid, very much like what we've seen in the past, with just a little bit different coloration. A good minifigure, a nice inclusion. Probably the strangest one is the Akbar Trooper. So in Rebuild the Galaxy, like I said a few minutes ago, they really threw everything on its head. So good guys became bad guys became good guys. Admiral Akbar became a stormtrooper, and not just a stormtrooper, but all of the stormtroopers. So you had an army of Akbar troopers that were constantly attacking. I think that's really unique. I think that's funny. And leave it to Lego to do something like that in their animated series. But to bring us that minifigure, I think is a great touch, and it's a win for, I think, Lego fans. That's the minifigure that came with the set. Now let's take a look at Anakin Starfighter from 2018 and see how it differs from Jedi Bob. So here are the two Jedi Starfighters side by side. This is Anakin's Jedi Starfighter set 75214. 247 pieces. It came with 2 minifigures. It came with Anakin, who's there in the cockpit, and R2-D2, who's in the droid socket. It was released in 2018, and it was $19.99 at release. Probably more economical. There's not a lot of difference between these two sets. Anakin Starfighter has 2 minifigures. Jedi Bob's has 3 minifigures. So there is a difference there, but this is considerably more expensive. So, you know, there is a kind of inflation thing going on here. But one of the things I really wanted to point out was the gap. Let's look at Anakin's ship. The gap as a result of the angle of the wings. See how big that is? I mean, you can see all the way through it. You can see my cabinets back behind if you look all the way through. And so they fixed that here simply by putting these rail pieces in. Now that was really smart. This was one of the things that, it didn't really bother me, but it was always noticeable when you build it. You just think, well, there's a big gap there. But they took care of that. So the Jedi Starfighters are always unique in their style and in their look. Front engines here, rear engines as well. You've got these underwing engines on Anakin's. So there's some uniqueness there. Same landing gear on the front, same cockpit area, very similar tail fin. Stickers throughout. One major difference, no droid socket here. And then you've got this socket for R2-D2 there. The cockpits are pretty similar. If anything, actually, this one might be a little bit more detailed. There's a larger control panel there. Otherwise, it's just pretty similar. This one comes with projectile shooters, where this one has the missile shooters. But, you know, there's a $20 difference in the price of these two sets, and it's 6 years. So, you know, there are a lot of people who have indicated that the cost of the sets, the increase in the cost of the sets, is just not sustainable. It's hard to argue with that. I mean, I don't like to get into a lot of the negatives, but a $20 increase, I mean, doubling the price of this set from 2018 to 2024 is pretty significant. The piece count on Anakin's Jedi Starfighter is 247. The piece count on Jedi Bob's is 305. And you get one more minifigure in Jedi Bob's Starfighter. So I could see this being a $30, I guess maybe $35, but, you know, 40 plus, that's kind of hard to swallow. So, and I do understand that we're going to see a release in January 2025. The Ahsoka Jedi Starfighter is suggested that it might be right around $45, which would be another $5 on top of Jedi Bob. So again, you know, it is what it is. I wish Lego would bring their prices down just a little bit. As a huge Lego fan, there are times when I have to decide, do I really want this set? Is this set something that will really add to my collection? And I don't get everything. I don't get everything. So, you know, that's an impact by price. There are 3 real reasons why I like this new Jedi Bob Starfighter set. First is the return of Jedi Bob, an iconic character. I remember getting him new in 2002 in the Republic Gunship set. I love that set, and I love the minifigures there. So Jedi Bob's return was really cool. Number 2 are the other minifigures. I think they're unique. The Gonk Droid Servo is great, and the Akbar Trooper is just very unique. And then the third reason is that the build of the Starfighter is just different enough from the other Starfighters to make it not be redundant. It's something that I want to display because it's unique. It's a little bit wider. The wings go back a little bit further. It's just different enough from Anakin's Starfighter that we looked at, Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter, and some of the other Jedi Starfighters that it's fun to display. It's worthwhile to display. So I think that's, for me, a good enough reason to own the set and to display the set. It got a lot of fanfare at release because of Jedi Bob. And again, he is a Lego Star Wars fan favorite. This is a good set. It's a little pricey, but it's a set that I think is worth having. It's got minifigures that are unique and worth owning. And like I said, the Starfighter itself fixes a problem, like the gap between the wings. And the designers did a fine job with this, and it's just different enough that I like to keep it out and have it displayed. So that was 75388 Jedi Bob Starfighter. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I hope you enjoyed the comparison with Anakin's Jedi Starfighter from 2018. Again, I think this is a solid set, a set that's worth owning. It's different enough from the rest of the Jedi Starfighters that I keep it on display. And the minifigures are fantastic. The return of Jedi Bob was something that people were really excited about. I remember in, I think maybe it was late 23, but early 24 for sure, when the rumors came out that Jedi Bob was returning, the fan community got pretty excited. So that was a lot of fun. It's a good looking ship. The colors are fantastic. Lego did a good job with this, and it's good to have this set and Jedi Bob back again. So that's everything for today. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you'll give it a like. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future content. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you soon.